All right, time for the next death battle. And what's that sound? One second. Got him. Hey everyone, Brobuscus here, and welcome back to another Let's Watch a Death Battle. Today's episode, we've got a very special one indeed. Because tomorrow, as of recording this, is Halloween. And what better way to celebrate that, I should say, than with one of the biggest Halloween matchups of all time. It is Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th versus Michael Myers from, well, Halloween. It's fitting that way. Also, this is the 13th episode of the season. The 13th Halloween movie just came out, and both Friday the 13th and Halloween make 13 new franchises this season. The stars really aligned for this one. Well, anyways, before we get into it, of course, there should be a link in the description below. You can go watch the actual episode yourself. Go support the official release before watching some random guy on YouTube react to it. All right? Got it? Cool. So, Jason versus Michael. It's a big Halloween match. Arguably the most requested one of all time. And it's what got me to watch at least a few of the Friday the 13th movies and the original Halloween. I do have more Halloween movies as well as more Friday the 13th movies. I have not seen them. Will I see them? I'm not sure. I mean, I guess I bought them, so I mean, I guess I have to do something with them. If you follow me on Twitter, by the way, I did a Twitter thread, going into my thoughts on the Friday the 13th and Halloween movies that I have watched. I have watched the original Friday the 13th, Part 2, and Freddy vs. Jason, and I've seen the original Halloween. And to put an extremely long story short, Freddy vs. Jason was fun. It was dumb, but it was fun. But that was mostly just when the two were actually fighting. Friday the 13th Part 2 was okay. It wasn't too bad, I guess. But the originals for both, could not get into them. Especially Friday the 13th. Halloween was at least somewhat creepy. Like, Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th is just dumb. Like, it's and it's not even, like, funny dumb. It's just really dumb. There's, like, no personality, no character to it. Honestly, the most character I got out of that movie was Pamela. And she shows up for, like, 10 minutes of the movie. So, combine that with some really awful acting. I know Halloween was a 70s movie, but so was Star Wars, and that has some really good acting. I'm sure all the actors who were there became A-list celebrities since then. And again, maybe I'll give the new trilogy, the new Halloween trilogy, a watch, because I'm generally more a fan of the newer movies than the older ones. Like, the older ones are classics. I'm not gonna say they're not, but I'm just like, I look at them and I'm like, this is really dumb. This is really dumb. This is really poorly made. But I'm like, wait, it's a 70s movie. That's probably why. But yeah, the original movies, I couldn't get into them. I know a lot of people say that the original Halloween is like the best one. So if that's the case, then I am scared to see what the rest of the series has to offer. I at least somewhat enjoyed Friday the 13th Part 2, and I did enjoy Freddy vs. Jason, even though I have not seen a single Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Don't know if I ever will, but time will tell. The point is, I think this waiting period has shown me that I'm probably not a big fan of horror movies. So, I mean, maybe I just gave the wrong ones a watch. I don't know. But that said, I still do really look forward to this fight. Everything about it just screams this is going to be a good episode. So, aside from watching the movies that I've watched, my only other experience with these two is really just revolves around Jason. He's in Mortal Kombat. I haven't played the game, but I know he's in it. And there was the Friday the 13th game that came out, which I did play like one round of that and got killed pretty much instantly. So maybe I'll give more of it a playthrough, because I did really bad. Yeah. So I still have somewhat respect for these characters, even though I wasn't a big fan of their movies. Just because they're simple. I mean, Jason was a deformed kid who got made fun of a lot and had like no friends and wasn't a good swimmer. So a bunch of kids just yeeted him into a pool, into a lake, and he drowned. Only for him to come back as a zombie or something. You know, there's a lot of different origins for Jason. And now he's a merciless mass murderer who thinks that either he thinks he's doing it for his mother or he is actually doing it for his mother. I'm not quite sure how that whole situation works. Where he just, if someone shows up at his camp, they die. That's kind of the long story short of it. And then Michael, he was a seemingly normal kid until at the age of 6. He ended up murdering his older sister because, yeah. To be honest, I'm not quite sure the whole story behind Michael Myers. The whole thing of, he murdered his sister at a young age, but I'm just sitting here thinking, why? Like, I mean, was he possessed? Because, like, he had this, like, blank expression pretty much the entire time. Like, everyone says, like, everyone around him says, like, he's the embodiment of evil. But I'm like, why did it take him 6 years to become the embodiment of evil? Maybe I'm just putting too much logic into a 70s horror movie. So, maybe that's my problem. But anyways, I had no strong feelings one way or the other for these characters. They seem cool. I enjoyed what little I did see of them as characters on screen. I just hated everybody around them. That's another problem I have with those movies, is that all of the main human characters suck. But anyways, so all that said, who do I want to win? Who do I think is going to win? Blah 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 blah. It's Jason. Both my answers to both those questions is Jason. I want him to win because I just do. I think he's going to win because he is stronger, potentially faster, tougher, has some pretty broken regeneration, is undead. Like, I really, really don't see how Michael can win this. Like, at least with the other episodes in this back half, in this second half, there was at least like a question in the back of my mind, like, could they win that? Like, even with SpongeBob vs. Aquaman, watching the episode, I realized, no, there's no way Aquaman could have won that. But prior to that, having not known much about Super Friends and, not watching the show and the conversation being mostly SpongeBob related, I was like, I feel like there's something being missed for Aquaman. And turns out, no, there was nothing missed for Aquaman because he's got nothing. So I was like, well, I don't want to lock it in just yet, but I'm probably going to side with SpongeBob. And then for the others, it was like Bond versus Wick was like, I mean, Bond is probably going to win, but I could see how Wick could win it. Black Adam versus Apocalypse is like, well, that one's just debatable. Like, how, like, Black Adam's probably at least somewhat stronger and faster, but Apocalypse has the crazy powers. Trunks versus Silver was like, well, it's kind of the similar boats. Like, both of them seem pretty much immeasurable when it comes to stats, but Silver just had the abilities to match. But this time it's like, what does Michael have? I guess he's smarter, but what the heck is smart's gonna do for this fight? I guess he's more creative with his kills, but again, what the heck does that matter? The problem is that, for one, Michael has no way of beating Jason in a straight brawl, but also, even if he did, he has no way of killing him. whereas Jason does. Michael has like some debatable level of immortality, but I'm pretty sure there was some contention to that. I don't know. I don't remember every detail. The point is, I've been dragging this on too long. The point is, I'm going for Jason. I really don't see how Michael can win this, but I guess I'll have to watch the analysis and see and find out. So let's do that. Play. Again with the spotlight. Oh, hello.
Prepare yourselves. It's time we tell the tale of Crystal Lake's masked murderer, Jason Voorhees.
And the horrifying boogeyman of Haddonfield, Michael Myers.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to bring terror and fright on this Halloween night on Death Battle.
Interesting.
Within the woods of Crystal Lake lurks a killer, buried but not dead, doomed to rise from the grave and slaughter those who live and love, if you know what I mean.
This is the curse of Jason Voorhees.
Rumor has it he was a deformed child, bullied and harassed all of his life, only cared for by his single mother. But not even Mama Voorhees could save Jason when he tragically drowned at Camp Crystal Lake. Or did he?
Over time, Crystal Lake became wrought with strange disappearances and violent deaths.
Man, I don't know who edited this, but
counselors who should have been watching Jason when he drowned all those years ago. Someone or something ... was out for vengeance.
And yet these harrowing murders were committed by none other than Jason's own mother, Pamela Voorhees, seeking revenge against those who neglected her child, dooming him to his terrible end.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
I mean, in a sense, sure.
I guess.
However, even after her killing spree was cut short, the deaths continued. Nobody
She just
could
looked
prove
like
it, but maybe,
a crazy
just
person.
Maybe Jason was still alive.
Holy shit! Yeah, he's definitely alive. Wait, has he been living in the lake this whole time?
Jason has fortitude far beyond any normal man. You can swing an axe in his face, blast half his body away, or trap him in an exploding building. Yet it will all be in vain.
Even when one of the few survivors of his attacks hacked him to pieces, Jason rose again. Seriously, this happens a lot.
Nobody knows the true source of his unkillable nature. Some say it's an indigenous curse, others say it's the Necronomicon, and some even say it's a hell worm. So, not too many reasonable answers.
Either way, be careful, or you just might end up on the wrong side of Jason's trusty machete. Something he uses with enough strength to split skulls and pierce metal.
Even when Jason has no weapon, he can be resourceful and oddly creative with his kills. He might bludgeon you to death with a drown you in a garbage can, or snap you in half between a bedfold.
Worst of all, this demented mama's boy will always get his prey. Oh, you think you can run away? Well, think again, idiot. He can teleport.
No, he can't.
Oh, yeah? Well, how about the time he appeared in
it might as well be
places
teleportation.
at once around this dance floor? See? Teleporting.
Wrong. Hallucinations resulting from a mix of cocaine and panic.
Okay, smartass. How about when he teleported from one end of this ship to another? How'd he get there?
Actually, when watching the full scene for complete context, there is plenty of time afforded for Jason to jump down the deck while off camera. He is quite athletic after all.
What, without making any sound? The guy's built like he's made of 100 brick houses. Are we watching the same movie?
Look, fans have argued this for years, and while admittedly those moments are questionable, they're not enough to prove actual teleportation.
Okay, how about
and
this
then you
one?
bring up the
In
game.
Jason X, where 3 soldiers are shooting him straight on, and he just disappears. Poof! Gone! While they're looking right at him, goddammit, it's teleporting.
Well, I'm sure there's a logical explanation.
I just stared at this scene while processing 900 trillion frames per second, and Boomstick is correct.
Ha!
Also, now my eyes are broken.
Oh, okay.
You know, Jason can actually teleport in the video game.
I was about to say, why is he playing
believe
the
it.
Switch?
I suppose teleporting would explain how, despite his hulking size, Jason can move with ghostly silence and pick off victims one by one. Are you sure about this, dummy?
Where did he go? Oh, great.
Either way, Jason's unstoppable bloodlust makes him a horrifying threat.
Even if you think you're protected by a foot of solid steel, he'll just crash through it to stab you.
And though it's tough to believe, there may actually be a deadlier Jason out there too.
Stronger, faster, and campier.
Is Uber Jason?
This is Uber Jason.
Yeah.
Rebuilt from Jason's remains through a sinister fusion of science and mysticism. And guess what? Normal Jason later fought Uber Jason and actually held his own. Yeah, the comics get kind of wacky, just go with it.
Only natural for a monster that has fought other supernatural entities.
Like Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, and the groovy man himself, Ash Williams.
Indeed. So be warned, if you ever see a shadow moving through the darkness and hear a familiar run. Jason is out to find you, and chances are you are not leaving alive.
I love Ben's delivery on that.
On a bleak Halloween night, Michael Myers was born into the world as a seemingly normal child. However, beneath his pale, blank face hid something dark, something evil.
How evil? Well, he stabbed his sister Judy to death when he was just 6 years old. Oh, what a rascal.
Michael was institutionalized at a sanitarium where he simply sat still, almost like a machine.
For 15
His
years.
psychiatrist, Dr. Loomis spent 8 years trying to reach him, but Michael never said a word.
But even when locked up, he still managed to get away with several murders, including Loomis's fiancée. There was no helping or stopping Michael. More than anything, he wanted to kill.
After 15 years, the night before Halloween, he broke out of the sanitarium, leaving behind one word: sister.
The story goes Michael had another sibling, Lori, and for some unknowable reason, he wanted her to suffer the same fate as Judy. And everyone else, really. He's not too picky, and he could do it too.
For in his hands, anything can be a deadly weapon. Countless reports of various murders have appeared across Haddonfield. He's exploded heads, boiled people alive, and used his trademark knife to stab poor souls to walls like some macabre piece of art.
When they say to admire your work, I don't think this is what they meant. And this isn't some special combat knife or dagger. He did this with an ordinary kitchen knife.
Michael is also surprisingly clever. Despite being confined for nearly all his life, at some point, he apparently taught himself how to drive.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Was definitely
but I mean, the movie also acknowledged that it doesn't make sense.
All these kills were just a detour to his ultimate goal, Lori. On an all too familiar Halloween night, he finally met his long-lost sister and nearly killed her.
But Loomis intervened, shooting Michael and sending him out a window. Phew, well, guess that's the end of him. Yeah, you know it's not.
No one knows how, but the body simply vanished, only to return later that night as if nothing had happened.
There's a reason why they call him the Boogeyman.
Even after being set on fire and rendered comatose, Michael Myers would not be stopped.
Almost like he's some kind of invincible undead monster.
Many explanations have been given for Michael's strange abilities, but some less reputable
I didn't think we'd see all these guys here. That's cool.
The ancient druidic Curse of Thorn, whose symbol is, well, they say it's an ancient icon of Halloween, but it's actually the Norse rune for Thor, sometimes called the Thorn Rune. I think they just Googled rune and thorn and called it a day.
Whoa. Is Michael Myers a Viking? Yes! Awesome!
Curse or no curse, Michael is inexplicably driven to kill without hesitation, and his victims almost never see him coming.
You said, uh-oh.
Well, explaining Michael away with a vague curse is nothing more than a crutch for the truth. The fact of the matter is, no one knows why he is so cruel, so violent, so unstoppable. He just is.
At the end of the day, evil gives no explanation, only despair.
Michael thrives not just on the satisfaction of murder, but the fear it inflicts in others.
Even scarier, his kills are done with surgical precision. He can murder you as quickly or slowly as he wants. This guy knows exactly what he's doing with that kitchen knife. He's like a hibachi chef of death.
And yet, his attacks were almost brought to an end by Lori herself. But when the time came for the final blow, Michael proved his intelligence and wit by faking his own death using a body double.
All while getting his sister to commit murder for him. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed.
He's also either impossibly sneaky, or he can use teleportation. Because he once moved through a yard full of motion sensors without setting off a single one. Until he wanted to.
Look at this! There's just no stopping him. Fill him full of bullets, Michael will come back ready to rip off your head. Put him in the center of an exploding church, he'll survive and go on to kill dozens more people, just for dramatic effect.
It was this relentless evil that made the people of Haddonfield go ballistic and band together to end Michael Myers once and for all.
Unfortunately, the town would soon realize that was just not possible.
Any ordinary person would have been long dead after what he experienced, but he took all of the town's punishment, got right back up, and went right back to doing what he does best.
And you know what's the creepiest part about all this? They never caught him. He's still out there looking for his next prey, I assume.
So every Halloween night, lock your doors, turn off your lights, and pray you'll make it to morning. Because the boogeyman is real, and his name is Michael Myers.
Yeah.
All right, the tales have been told and terror runs free. Let's see which monster will stop.
I'm not pausing. I still think it's Jason.
Time for a spooky death battle!
When did Jason rip off James Bond? Anyways.
Mother is talking to you. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes. Kill her.
Let's see how this goes. Yep, already dead. And preview ends here. All right, game over. Oh.
Where are you? We gotta go.
I do like the visual effect they got going here. Kind of old-timey. I wonder who they got to voice these people. Oh, okay. Animation's a little stiff, but alright. Okay. Interesting. And cue jump scare. Yep, there it is. Ow.
Kill him, Jason. Kill him. Make Mother proud.
Not it. Oh. Ow. Is that it? I'm guessing that's it. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Are we sure he's dead? You can't be too careful with these guys.
Michael Myers won't be rising from the grave this time. Jason was too much for him. The stories may paint these slashers as unstoppable, but they do have limits and can be understood.
To Michael's credit, he could match Jason in a lot of ways. Both were experts in methods of killing, and both could totally teleport.
Theoretically, though if both of them really could teleport, then neither had an advantage in that regard. So
Right.
teleportation deniers can rest easy knowing it wasn't really a factor here.
Even the explosions they both survived were similar in size and destructibility.
But Jason held the edge with his superior endurance and healing. Michael faking his death with a body double was clever, but he did it because he explicitly could not survive something like decapitation or getting half his torso blown off.
But Jason could. He also had more experience fighting other supernatural enemies like Leatherface, Freddy, and his uber self. So I doubt Michael could have surprised him with something he's never seen before.
And Jason was just
Probably
as
not.
strong and vicious as Michael, if not more. So given the difference in survivability, he had a much better chance of striking Michael down first. In a battle between two unkillable monsters, it's only natural it would come down to who was more unkillable.
After being ripped to pieces, Michael can now rip in peace. Right, Jocelyn?
She's gone too. The Switch is gone too.
Jocelyn? Hello?
The winner is Jason Voorhees.
What was that behind them?
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We'll be jumping into the next matchup next week.
That was an interesting
You can
fight.
always get more Death Battle right now by clicking one of those boxes right over there, and by downloading the battle music linked down below.
Alright, what's next? Is it Sauron? Yep, it's Sauron. Oh, and it is Arthas. Sauron versus the Lich King. Well, we're finally getting the last of the T's combatants out of the way. I was wondering when this one would show up. Yeah, I mean, cool. More new franchises, so that's good. And you know, we're bringing in both the Lord of the Rings and Warcraft, so that's gonna be very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to see what they do with that. From everything I've heard, it sounds like the Lich King wins. I could be mistaken about that, but that's just what I've heard. But let me know in the comments what's the best way to get into Warcraft without actually playing the game. MMOs are just not my thing. So yeah. But that'll be an interesting fight. I look forward to seeing what they do with that. It gives me an excuse to watch more of the Lord of the Rings movies. I saw the first one during a movie event in the Death Battle Discord server. So yeah. So, and I have a collection. So I have the trilogy. So I'll give the other two movies a watch. And I'll find some way to get into Warcraft. But yeah, sounds interesting. Sounds fun. As for this fight, so I like it. I'm gonna say right off the bat that I like it. The general atmosphere, the extra casualties. By the way, actually, I'm curious who voiced them. Okay, Alex was Issa Badiola. I'm guessing it's the Okay, Sam Noah Wiggins, and Pamela was Jen K. Tidwell. Good job all around, I would say. So yeah. I think my biggest issue with it was Nick that edited it. All right, that makes sense. I think my biggest issue is that, okay, for one, I think this episode is kind of short, which I guess makes sense. These two are pretty simple, and you're not going to get much like high-octane combat from them. So I guess it makes sense to not drag it on too long. But I don't know. I feel like maybe this is just a first impressions thing, because I felt the same way about Omni-Man vs. Homelander, and that has skyrocketed as far as how much I like it. So So for one, I think it's a little short. Another, the animation is still a little janky, still a little snappy, I guess. I was gonna say stiff, but it's not that stiff. Like there's that scene where I guess his name is Sam, was opening the car, and he just like the car door was like already swung open, and he's already jumped in like in the blink of an eye. So I was like, weird that. But in general, I think they got the like. It wasn't like scary. Like I wasn't expecting it to be this like incredibly scary episode, but it was still like it had that sort of like creepy atmosphere to it, which I appreciate. The fight looks good. It sounds good. The music was fitting enough. It's not something I listen to on its own, but it's fitting. I like it. All these extra VOs did a good job. Who animated this aside from? Oh, it was just Devil Artemis. I mean, there's a bunch of other animators, but like Viz Post people, but still. Okay. So yeah, I don't really have much in the way of things to say about this fight. It was nice. It was simple. It was chilling in some regards. Lacking in others, admittedly. But overall, I'd say I enjoyed it. So yeah, I really don't have much more to say on the matter. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.